Good evening, family. It's Brother Ra's son, Haru, tapping back in at the Galactic Studio. Today we're going to deal with, we're going to jump back into the Akashic Records. And that's unlocking the secrets, universal knowledge, and nature of the Akashic, including prayer, guided meditation, and Akashic tarot readings. It's time to get back in it. Okay, part 8. Readings for others. The difference between readings your Akashic records and reading someone else's. There are some core difference between opening and reading your own records and helping someone else by reading their records for them. I'll turn this down just a tap. Okay. When reading for others, there are some guidelines you must follow. Such guidelines are vastly different from the guidelines we established in the previous part. Reading the records of others is both an honor and a privilege. So you should be ready for this responsibility. Here are some of the guidelines you can follow to give a successful Akashic reading. Consent is crucial. Akashic records holds a person's every thoughts, emotions, actions, and intent. They are the records of their life. And they also contain the records of their past ones. As you can infer, letting someone else read your records can make you feel vulnerable because you are trusting them with every detail of your life. Therefore, it is extremely important not to force readings on anyone. You need to get the person's explicit consent if you want to give them an Akashic reading. Also, do not try to manipulate them into giving you permission. In fact, it is even preferable that the client or loved ones come to you asking for a reading, not the other way around. As you gain more experience, you may be able to discern others' needs and find out that they indeed need a reading. Ultimately, it is not your choice. If the other person shows some hesitation, it means that the lords of the records do not think it is the right time for that person to know more. Regardless of the person's final decision, you need to continue providing love and support. Discretion is key. That's discretion is key. This one goes without saying, but we need to make sure that you are aware of the secrecy and the Akashic reading should involve. As mentioned previously, a person's records contain depictions of their whole life. When you are chosen to help someone else know more about themselves, you become their secret keeper. For this reason, you must prove to that person that they have made the right choice. When they trusted you by upholding a code of secrecy, this means that you should never divulge any information about the reading you give others, even if you are not disclosing strictly private details. Sometimes you might want to tell people about your growing experience and how you are using your talent to help others. Yet it is better to keep it to yourself unless the person agrees to share the details of their session. Put yourself in their shoes. Would you like it if someone else shared your most private details with strangers? Clarity matters. People who give other Akashic readings often report that they do not fully understand the information or images they are presented with. Well, rest assured, that is completely normal. Because you're reading another person's records, not everything you are going to see or hear is going to make sense. Nonetheless, it is your duty to inform the other person of what you have seen. You'd be surprised that they might not be able to make sense of it. In any case, it is crucial that you remain gentle, supportive, and respectful when presenting information. Keep your readings free of judgment and make them a safe place for anyone who needs your help. Minors are easily influenced. You should never try to open a minor's Akashic records because they are still being shaped. If you attempt to give a minor an Akashic reading, you risk influencing them and changing their future in some way, especially if you opt to open their future records. Moreover, this involves an ever bigger moral dilemma: the issue of consent. Minors do not have the mental maturity required to consent. This is why any attempt to get their permission is considered serious. So what should you do if a minor parent asks you to open his or her records? The short answer is that you should say no. Nevertheless, you can instead get their permission to access your own records if they have any questions about how they can improve their parenting methods. This way you can still help the parent and respect the minor's right at the same time. Your emotions can get entangled. Objectively, is vital when you are giving someone else an Akashic reading, as you're going to be presented with intimate information about their lives. You must view this information and relay it to objectively. Try to eliminate your own emotions from the equation to avoid upsetting the other person. You should also not give the person direct advice based on what you have seen in their records. You should allow them the freedom to choose how they are going to use the information you have given them. If you notice that you keep getting upset or even angry when people do not act on your advice, then you should take a break from giving others Akashic readings until you feel you can approach the session with impartiality. What to do if you cannot get a person's consent? You may find that you are either met with resistance or hesitation when asking others to open their Akashic records. While this may signal that it is not the right time, in most cases, the resistance or hesitation you might face can be easily remedied if you cannot get a person's permission to read their records. There are two things you can do. Reassuring them. The easiest thing you can do is to alleviate any doubt the other person might be having. The person's resistance to letting you open their records could stem from someone's misconceptions they have about the Akashic records in general. They may think that they are not real, or that accessing the records will put them in unnecessary danger. You might first understand where the other person is coming from to help them get over their fears and doubts. In most cases, having a sincere talk with the nature and merit of opening the Akashic records will convince the person to give you their permission. Opening your own records. If you have hit a dead end and cannot get the other person's permission, no matter how hard you try to reassure them, then it is time to step back and respect their wishes. However, this should not stop you from continuing to give them your support in every way they need. Opening your own records is a great means of doing so. By opening your own records and talking to your masters, teachers, and loved ones, you can ask them how you can help that person reach their divine ideal. Your masters, teachers, and loved ones will provide you with the effective ways of helping the other person's soul grow and learn new lessons. Even if you cannot open their records now, how to conduct an Akashic reading for other person. After following the advice above and the guidelines, reassuring the person of the safety of opening their Akashic records, you can now proceed to access and read their records. You need to use the pathway of prayer, process mentioned in the third part. Nonetheless, the way you read the prayer is going to be a bit different. Here's a breakdown of the full process. Preparing yourself. When you're trying to open someone else's records, you should always prepare yourself first. You need to let go of your worries, especially if you are usually plagued with thoughts of inadequacy. The core difference between reading your own records and reading another person's record is that you might suffer from a stage fright. When it is time to conduct a reading, to fix this, you must put the other person's needs first, meaning that you must focus on how the reading will benefit them instead of dwelling on your own emotions. You can meditate for a few minutes to alleviate stress and become steady to start this and become ready to start the session. Opening and closing the records. Because you want to put the other person at ease, the way you read the pathway prayer must reflect that. The first paragraph of the opening prayer should always be read out loud to signal your intentions to opening the Akashic record. On the other hand, the second paragraph deals with the person's feelings of the reader. So it should not be read out loud. By reading the second paragraph, you actively call upon God to protect you from selfishness, and help you stay focused on the reading. You should keep in mind that the third paragraph is where the biggest change lies. Based on the previous part, you should now be aware of the importance of using the person's legal name when opening their records. Yet because you do not want to make the person feel out of depth, you can use their first name or even nickname when reading the third paragraph out loud. Then you can read the paragraph again. By suffocating, it is using the person's legal name. Finally, the last line should always be read aloud, as it signals that you have successfully opened the Akashic records. While the opening prayer is different when giving another person's reading, the closing prayer is the same. So after you get the information you need, read all the lines of the closing prayer out loud to show your gratitude for the masters, teachers, and loved ones. Grounding yourself. Your consciousness shifts as you open the Akashic records. Then it shifts again to its normal state when you close them. You may notice that after closing the personal records, you still feel something residual. You still feel some residual emotions from the readings. As you enter the person's records, you experience their past lives and troubles firsthand. Therefore, you could still feel a bit disconcerted after you close their records. Nevertheless, you have nothing to worry about. By finding an activity that requires your full attention, or what's called grounding activity, you can let go of all the residue the reading session has left. Things you can do to ensure the integrity of the reading. Find somewhere quiet. Your goal as an Akashic reader should be finding the truth. And this requires a quiet area where you can stay focused. If you are conducting the reading in your house or office, make sure that the area is free of distractions and noise. On the other hand, if you are conducting the reading in the person's house, you must ask them to prepare a quiet area beforehand. If the Akashic records are open, you have to make sure that nothing can distract you both. So, as you can see, every Akashic reading requires some serious preparation. Be careful when giving remote readings. Not having the other person in the same room does not mean you cannot open their records. You can still conduct remote readings, either online or on the phone. However, you must ensure that your technology is up to the task. You must make sure that your phone or laptop is fully charged. Also, you need to check your internet connection to avoid any connection issues during the session. According to what the person needs, they may ask you to record the session to make sure that you have a functional camera around. Get finances out of the way. There is no shame in charging a fee for your reading. In fact, you might be able to turn your talent into a profession as you become more advanced and attuned to the energy of the Akashic realm. If you have already chosen to charge a fee, make sure to collect it before you start the reading, just to get that out of the way. This way you can focus solely on assessing other person's records and helping them reach their divine idea. However, we do not recommend that you charge a fee directly after opening your own records for the first time, because you need enough practice to be able to justify charging a fee for your readings. Offer free readings for the first 2 or 3 months. Have a ready set of questions. Just like when you are reading your own records, you need to have a specific questions in mind when reading the records of others. Of course, you will not be able to come up with a list of questions you need to ask on the other person's behalf without discussing it with them first. Thus, you need to ask the person to prepare the questions they want to ask. In the spirit, you must elaborate on the difference between question form and which one works better than the others. If you're still getting a list full of yes or no questions, you can discuss with the other person how you can paraphrase such inquiries and changes them into questions that start with why, what, or how. Similarly, you need to let the other person know that they will not be able to ask personal questions about someone else unless they share a relationship with that individual. In any case, the information they will get about the other person will be limited to the context of their relationship. Repeat the pathway prayer. Despite your best attempts, you may still feel like there is an invisible barrier between you and the person's records. Additionally, your emotions may become entangled in the reading, negatively impacting or impartially. If this happens, you can read the pathway prayer again to get rid of any negative energy or tension. You might be sensing the prayer job is clearly your aura and help you see the truth. So whatever is in doubt, repeat the prayer and then continue where you left off. The benefits of reading others' Akashic records. Gaining more experience. The more times you spend in the Akashic realm, the more experience you gain. And it becomes easier to shift your consciousness when needed. Not only will this enable you to help others reach their divine ideal, but it will also improve your own personal reading down the line. As time passes, accessing and reading your records will become easier. Not only that, but will also be able to get an accurate reading every time. So even if you do not get any monetary gain from it, reading other people's records can help you become more experienced with the Akashic realm, becoming more attuned to others' needs. As you conduct more and more readings for others, you will notice that you are becoming more attuned to their needs. You will be able to relay the information you have been given and gently and respectfully as you can. Moreover, your perception will go beyond the physical realm, as you will be able to see other people in the light of the Akashic records. This means you are going to be able to love all souls equally without any prejudice. Also, you will get rid of any judgmental patterns of behavior you might have had in the past and replace them with unequivocal love and acceptance. And that was part 8. The difference between reading the Akashic records and reading someone else's. We talked about consent is crucial. Discernment is key, and clarity matters. Be careful with minors. They are easily influenced. Be careful. Your emotions can get entangled. What to do if you cannot get a person's consent? It's about reassuring them. Sometimes you have to go and open your own records. And this is how to conduct an Akashic reading for others. It's really about preparing yourself, opening and closing the records with a prayer. After that's done, it's about grounding yourself and removing the residue. And it's truly about ensuring the integrity of the reading. So that's about finding somewhere quiet to do the reading. You have to be careful when doing a remote reading. You have to really look at whether you're experienced enough to charge the person for the reading. And you have to have the right questions to ask the master, the teacher, and the loved ones. Because this is where your answers are coming from. So it's about preparation and getting the right questions and avoiding yes and no questions. And it's about that pathway prayer. Like I said, it's important to do that pathway prayer. And as the reader actually gets a chance to look at the benefits of reading other people's Akashic records. You know, it's about gaining more experience in the Akashic realm. Becoming more attuned to the other's needs. And that's basically what we do in this spiritual path that we chosen for ourselves. Actually, we didn't choose them for ourselves. We just happen to wake up to the realization of the path that we chose. Before we even came down here. Always remember, you signed a contract to come here. And remember, that's why I stress remember. Because we had to forget who we were. That was part of the agreement. But when we arrive and we come online, you know, I sit here today and think about the net of the initiates. A lot of times we come online through a different net. It's called the internet. But some people can get lost in that. It's about staying focused, especially when you come online. When you come back into the awareness of what you're actually here for. I'm so grateful to Source, to the masters, the teachers, and my loved ones. My gratitude is fully expressed verbally as my throat chakra become balanced is Brother Rasun. Haru. Tapping out. Stay tuned for part 9. This is about meditation. The next part is about exercise and meditation. It's vital. It's important to getting things moving. It's about creating those patterns. Alright. Peace, love, and light to all.